Chairman Hicks, we're ready. Or Hinsky, my apologies.
Welcome. So we're looking at Senate File 53. It's here on a re-referral because there's an appropriation, but just so you know, we don't look, I mean, we like to look at the merits of the bill, but we're really here to opine on the appropriation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Major General Greg Porter. I serve as the Adjutant General for the state of Wyoming. Before you is Senate File 53, as you said, sir, a referral from Transportation and Military Affairs. Very quickly, what this attempted to do was solve the problem of when our soldiers and airmen go on state active duty, we require that they have some insurance as they go do that, because if they're injured while they're doing state active duty, workers' comp is the method that they use to take care of them. But if they were to get the flu or COVID or some other sort of injury, they wouldn't be covered. So we try to have them have some sort of insurance. At the same time, when they come on state active duty, particularly we saw this during COVID, they had to leave their jobs for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes as much as 5 months. At that time, they still had to maintain their civilian health insurance. What this bill attempted to do is provide reimbursement when they come to the state's aid and serve on state active duty for their medical insurance premiums. Now, we based this on the TRICARE Reserve Select insurance premium costs. Now, many soldiers and airmen.
Is that the HMO? Is that the HMO?
That's the military's.
The high deductible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The deductible is not too bad.
Okay.
The insurance is low cost. Every National Guardsman has the ability to sign up for it, but there are plenty that choose to have their own private insurance through Blue Cross and Blue Shield. As we looked in the committee, during the committee work, there was obviously a discussion of, do you reimburse the civilian insurance or do you reimburse the TRICARE insurance? So as we went forward, that was the recommendation for the bill ultimately is we're going to reimburse the TRICARE level because that keeps it straight across, and we can very easily determine what the costs are rather than some folks that have larger insurance bills. So I will tell you in the committee that the appropriation here is probably a little much. We base that on the COVID numbers. The department would not oppose a cut to say $10,000 to do that. This is only for the rest of the biennium. Right now, I don't see any COVID-like instances coming. I think $10,000 would be plenty to reimburse. Our high point during COVID was a $44,000 bill. Our average is probably in the neighborhood of $2,200 a year. If our normal state active duty response would occur.
Could I hear you say 10,000 would be enough?
Yes, sir.
Down from the 103?
Yes, sir. That the other part of that is for a halftime position, which we wouldn't mind if that went away as well. But I don't know if you can in this body deal with the full-time equivalent. Senator Pappas, I know, wanted to speak on this, sir, and I noticed he joined us as well. So I don't know if you want to hear from him as well.
Welcome, Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for being late. I don't know what you've discussed.
I can reframe it for you. He described when somebody goes on to active duty, they either have to pay the premium on their health insurance for their employer, or they have to buy a policy. But either way, the Guard wants them covered by some kind of policy. Right. So this money is intended.
And I'm hoping that they mentioned that this is we looked at retention and accession issues in the interim, and this is a retention issue. So I hope that that's understandable, and that really the insurance that we're reimbursing is probably much cheaper than they're actually paying. So this is really not a full reimbursement to people. It is just the TRICARE rate, and that it was just too difficult to ever figure out what the actual rate would be for every person. So picked what they were eligible for, because everybody's eligible for the TRICARE rate to take TRICARE insurance.
Okay.
So if that's the reimbursement amount.
Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Direct the committee's attention to page 2, line 6. And so the question I have really relates to whether or not this applies to a member who spouse has health insurance coverage, and whether or not we're reimbursing the member for the spouse's premium that they have through their employer, or if this is just if it's in the member's employ.
Interesting question.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
Senator Nethercott, I think that could happen. I think we're looking at about $7 a day in terms of reimbursement for those folks. At least in my mind, we had not gone down the road of auditing to that level, whether they had another insurance police or not. But that is possible for that to happen if the spouse had insurance. That we could also reimburse the individual too.
Follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's it. I think just that could be procedurally or administratively a little tricky to handle, but maybe not my concern.
Okay.
And Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Salazar.
Mr. Chairman, again, since I wasn't here, did you explain to them the difference from one year to the other, the high year of 2021 and?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he said the money's a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's widely
Yeah.
fluctuating, and so we just have to cover for
Yeah.
the.
So we'll go to Senator Salazar and then we'll turn our attention to tailoring this appropriation.
So, General, are you requiring insurance now? And then I have a couple questions. Let me just get them out of the way. So are you requiring insurance for drilling National Guard people, or if they come on active duty, they're already on, I was already on TRICARE. Is this a new policy?
Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Please.
Senator Salazar, two different circumstances. So we don't require insurance for normal drill and that sort of thing. That's you can certainly have it, but it gets covered generally. If you were injured while you're doing drill, there's a process to do that. This is when we go on state active duty. And so that's when we want them to maintain their current medical insurance, because it's better than the workers' compensation program that they do. And also they have to keep it while they're serving on state active duty, even though they're not getting an employer's paycheck. So they're paying for their medical insurance while they're on state active duty. This was an attempt to reimburse that cost while they were on state active duty and weren't at their job, so that they could, normally it's deducted from your paycheck. Well, they may not be getting a paycheck. So this was an intent to reimburse those costs that they'll have to make out of pocket to maintain their medical insurance.
Thank you. Let's turn our attention to the appropriation. The last several pages. So let's start with the, because I presume a good chunk of the appropriation is the half FTE. So you've got Series 100 personnel benefit costs 48 is so that'd be the 96 biennial number. And if I heard you correctly, you do not require that.
Mr. Chairman, that is correct. It's my fault. I tried to balance some risk between three bills that we have going on here. Each one has a half FTE in it. In retrospect, not a good strategy to have. So this one here does not, if you were to pass this by itself, I would not need extra resources to execute this medical insurance.
Okay.
It's just not that large.
So either bill number 2 or bill number 3, there will be an FTE in it. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right. That's helpful.
Mr. Chairman,
Please, Senator.
might
Pettis.
I made a suggestion in one of those other bills, since they did split up an FTE, and it would be probably logical to put a full FTE in one of them. And then make the other bill contingent on the passage of the other one.
Okay.
Because if one passes with half an FTE, what do you do? It's difficult.
You'll be certain to highlight that to us when we get to the second and third bill. So then, if we can, General, we'll go to Series 600 grant and aid payments. 55,000 per year, 110 per biennium. And tell me what you think is appropriate there.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I think we could get down to $10,000 for the rest of this biennium
Okay.
because I
10
don't see another COVID-like issue instance happening. And if it does, I'll work with the governor's office and we'll go through another process to get
okay,
the
10K through 630 of 23.
Yes, sir.
And then
This is 24, sir. I'm sorry.
oh, through that. Okay.
Yep.
I thought it said when you said this year.
I did, sir, and I was in error. So you're
Okay, so 10K through 630, 24, and then subsequently.
yes, sir. Be part of this.
Same.
Yes, sir. I think we at the biennium will probably double it. The biennium on that one, it would probably be 20 at that point, sir. Once
20K.
once we get through there.
Well, this is a red letter day because I think there's two people who actually came in front of our committee and never asked for less. So thank you. The other was the oil and gas guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know,
Okay.
I'll make.
But
I'll make
I
it
can
up.
appreciate you got to go in conservative until you get a better handle on the numbers. Okay, anything else for the agency or for Senator Pappas?
Oh, yes.
Senator Anderson.
The nomenclature here on the new language on page 2, line 4 says he serves in-state active duty. That doesn't mean the geographic in-state. That means he's in-state active duty, right? He could be in Colorado or wherever.
Mr. Chairman, that is correct. As long as you are performing duty under the direction of the state of Wyoming Commander in Chief.
Of active duty. Yeah.
I did have another question. I mean, your department is what, 90% federal funds?
Mr. Chairman, about 96%.
96%? And is there a role for, can we cost shift some of this? Will some of this be shifted to the feds?
Mr.
No.
Chairman, no, sir, because of the state active duty aspect of it.
Okay,
That's a
All right.
state funded requirement.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, and I,
Pappas, yeah.
I was just going to make mention to what Senator Salazar said, if they're on federal active duty, it's not an issue. It's only when they're working on behalf of the governor. And
Okay.
he calls them out.
Okay. Anything else for these gentlemen before we open up for public comment? Okay, public comment, anybody on the Zoom? Okay, no public comment. I'll close comment. It's to the committee. Moved and seconded. Do I have an amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would move to amend page 3, line 9 and 10 to $10,000.
Page 3. Moved and seconded. Does that work for you, General? Are we doing it in the right place? Right, okay. And then where's the FTE? I'm looking for the FTE in the bill.
On page 2, line 16 is an FTE full-time equivalent position. Is that the FTE you're looking
Yeah,
for?
it looks like all of sub A could go. Is that your understanding? Go ahead.
This is where we need to provide the contingent language. Do we know the other Senate files?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Chris Smith, an attorney with the military department. The other two bills started in the House.
Okay.
So here in this bill, we would remove entirely the language about the FTE. And we would worry about a full-time equivalent in the two House bills, which is a referral incentive and then also a tuition assistance expansion, those two bills.
And Senator Bonner's talked to me about this.
And so, Mr. Chairman, should we on page 2, lines 15 through 21, strike that language?
I believe all of section A goes out.
I
Mr.
think-
Smith?
Could be right.
Mr. Chairman, yes, sir. I think in section 2, starting on line 15 on page 2, all the way through line 7 on
Yeah.
page 3.
That's right.
I think we need to deal with my amendment first before we change the FTE.
Okay. On Senator Anderson's amendment on page 3, line 10 to change 55, on lines 9 and 10 to change 55,000 to 10,000.
Did we vote on that?
Hmm.
Aye.
Yeah, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We're back on the FTE. I'll entertain a motion. Yes, Senator Guru.
I would move that we delete on page 2, section A, starting on page 2, line 15 and going through page 3 on line 7, and again, the word biennium, period.
Okay.
And re-letter and restriction as necessary.
Moved in second discussion. And then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. So as a new chairman, who prepares this amendment? Okay, you'll prepare the amendment. Okay. All right.
I have it.
Anything else?
Mr.
Anything else on
Chairman,
the- Please, Senator Nitika.
did you want contingent language?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Nuff, I think not in this bill, but thank you.
Further discussion. All right, clerk, call the roll.
Senator Anderson,
Aye.
Senator Guru. Senator Nethercutt, Senator Salzar, and Chairman Kinsky.
Aye.
5 do pass as amended.
So I presume no, this will come out in committee of the whole. I can handle this, be committee. of the whole. All right,
Yeah, so, yeah, thanks. Procedurally, Senator Grew was asking, it'll be standing committee amendment number 1 to Senate File 53. We may want to explain the amendment, or the good Senator Papiscan, since he was here.
you can move it and we'll back you up.
We're behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have your back mostly. Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
as long as you're not holding a knife.
It's like the old saying, they let us come to Thanksgiving, but nobody lets us hold the knife, right? Okay, Senator Guru and I are gonna take off, and I'll leave it to you, Senator Anderson, to finish out the other 2 bills. Thank you, gentlemen.
Send us Hicks.
Yeah, I'll track him down if you guys want to go ahead and do.
You want us to lay
Oh,
his
yeah.
bill over?
Well, if that's the case, we'll just postpone it.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so it looks like you're just gonna do 85, Jim, and we'll have to continue 118 to a subsequent meeting.
Okay.
No, not
No, it's
not
opposite.
118. I
We'll
got
do
that back
118.
passwords.
Oh.
Sorry. I
Do
got it
118.
backwards.
Do 118.
Do 118 and we'll push 85 to the next meeting. All right.
Only $161 million.
Didn't we already do this bill?
What's that?
See, I thought so too, but I don't think so. I think it
No,
looks,
we passed it and now it's been, I think was sent.
Oh, it was assigned, we passed
We
it
passed it out of.
as a
committee to
joint
send it.
sponsored bill. It just got assigned to us to work again. We've already approved this bill this year as a result of that. We've
that'll
got
be
this.
easy to knock out.
Do you just want to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next order of business is Senate File 85, state funds streamlining transfers and distributions.
118.
Excuse me.
118.
See, I'm already in that other meeting. Sorry about that. Senate File 118, fund balance calculations, federal encumbrances excluded. We've reviewed this previously. I don't see any agency comment, any public comment. No, closed. Back to the committee.
Move.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Call a roll.
Senator Anderson,
Aye.
Senator Guru, Senator Nethercott, Senator Salzar, and Chairman Kinsky.
Aye. So 85 looks an awful lot like, what was the other one we did, 97? What was the one that we presented this morning? 97, wasn't it? You know, now I'm confused. There's a difference between these two. Okay. Looks like we're done.
Senator, Chairman Kinsky, just as an update for tomorrow at noon for the committee, we'll carry forward 85. And then we've been assigned a couple of bills today, Senate File 23, treatment courts transfer to judicial branch, and Senate File 82, eligible water and sewer projects funding. Would
Okay.
you
so-
like me to post those for
so-
noon tomorrow?
So Thursday morning, we have,
Joint.
and Linda, what you can do is when you, on the, say, and any other re-referrals, because we really don't have to post re-referrals. I'm doing it as a courtesy. So
Would
just
you
have
like
it-
me to post them or not?
Pardon?
Would you like me to post them
Yeah, noon.
tomorrow?
Yeah, noon tomorrow. In the morning, we have budget bill, technical amendments, right?
Joint,
Joint,
your meeting notice.
joint, yeah.
And an appointment has been sent to your calendar.
You know, I'll ask him, anything's got appropriation, the general file to move it up to the top so that we can knock these off tomorrow. Be done. All right, meeting adjourned.